This plant is Chondropetalum tectorum El Campo, and that's a specific variety. And anyway, let me get into what I love about this plant. So this is one of my favorites. This is 2023. I've been using this plant and growing it in my own yard for about 6 years or so. And what I really like about it is the size. I do residential design, and this is a size that becomes very necessary for the scale of gardens that I design. But I've also just put it in my backyard in a mass planting in a couple of small masses, and I think it's very effective that way too. You can see it next to this Miscanthus morning light and the difference in color and textures, but this gives you a couple of interesting things to work with as a designer. The texture, the vertical form of it, and then the contrast of these dark brown sheaths on every leaf or blade, I guess you'd call it. And then this is the end of July, and you're getting a lot of flowering right now. This wasn't here even a month ago, but now these flowers are coming out. And I just love everything about it. I find it so interesting. I use it as punctuation or softening at the end of maybe a small wall or something like that. And then again, I like to use it contrasting. This is a really good pairing. I'll have it over here with Coleonema Sunset Gold. The yellow picks up very nicely with the brown in there, and again you can see it contrasting with the Miscanthus. Also Lamandra Platinum Beauty, really nice contrast if you're playing with the grassy textures. So it is an evergreen down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit in hardiness. It can take full sun. It is fairly drought tolerant. It does appreciate some water if it's really hot, but it doesn't need that. This thing has been through a very extreme drought here where we live and made it just fine. So that's a huge plus. The deer don't eat it. It's very tolerant of different conditions. I've seen this right by the ocean as well as hot inland valleys. So a lot of very positive things to say. I mean, I think as plants go, this is going to be a 9 or a 10 for all the things it offers. Also, talk about size. So mine, all the literature I'm looking at says 2 to 3 feet tall. These are 3.5 feet tall, and they're mature. They're probably 4 years old. And I think, one of my big things about plant design is making sure you understand the mature size of the plants you're working with. These are going to be wider though. They're going to be 4 feet wide. I just think you should use that number. You'll see how these are weeping out on the side a little bit. And I watched a pruning video, which I agree with, which is do not treat this like a grass and cut it down. You don't need to do that. What's cool is it's evergreen. There's virtually no maintenance. The only maintenance I do is I take down the branches that fall down and they become horizontal at the sides, and I do that maybe once a year at most. But you don't need to cut this to the ground. As a matter of fact, I think it ruins the shape of the plant. So that's what I tell you about maintenance. So that is Chondropetalum tectorum El Campo, a really good quality plant, very useful in different applications, and yeah, that's a winner.